Bienvenue donc sur cette édition, madame et monsieur. Bienvenue au 20h, coup d'état donc au Bénin. Ça panique donc fort du côté donc du Cameroun. Et talons à donc enlever ce jour.
Qu'est-ce qui va donc se passer en Afrique? Nous sommes avec vous, madame et monsieur. Rebonsoir à tous et bienvenue pour cette édition.
3, 2, 1, go!
Ok, c'est bon. Bon!
Bonne année!
Because at the end of the day, we all will go Cameroon remain Cameroon. Even if they give you 50, 100 billion, you will not be able to live longer than Methuselah. Even the houses that you have built, your children may not live in those houses. The castle you may have had, your children may not live in them, which is simply vanity upon vanity. Let me come to Kenya. In 2017, there was a highly contested election between William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. And at the time, William Ruto was the deputy vice president who was not in collaboration with his president, who was in the person of Uhuru Kenyatta. So Kenyatta backed the opposition candidate, Raila Amolo Odinga. No, at that time in 2017, Kenyatta and Raila Odinga were rivals. So William Ruto was with the president. So they went in for an election, the opposition claimed they won the election, the president claimed they won the election. So what happened was, the opposition candidate, like Isa Chiruma, declared that he has won the election. And it was only the IEBC, the Independent Election Boundary Commission, that had the power or the official mandate to declare the election. IEBC declared that Uhuru Kenyatta had won the election and with William Ruto. But what happened was that the opposition maintained that they had won the election. So the opposition, Raila Amolo Odinga, announced that he has won. What then preceded? They went to the Constitutional Council, which is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court under Chief Justice David Maraga saw that the tension was high and was actually in his readings. He said, justice has to be done. If we don't nullify this election, the country will burn. And for the country not to burn, we nullify, they should go back because some laws were not respected. Even if the president has won, but some laws were not respected. And he asked that they should go back and reconduct the election. The opposition, interestingly, refused. Amolo Odinga refused that they are not going in for any re-election, that they have won. And he announced his own swearing-in. That was even what was even treasonous, which is against the constitution. Raila Odinga announced his own swearing-in ceremony. He was not arrested. Members of his inner core were not arrested. They allowed them to do whatever they wanted to do on the official day of swearing-in of William Ruto in 2017. Because when they asked for the re-election, he did not go, but William Ruto went for the election. And Raila Odinga said he will inaugurate himself. On that day in Kenya, Kenyans were watching two inaugurations live on TV. One with the opposition, one with the president. I tell you, that was political maturity. They allowed Odinga to carry his own swearing-in ceremony. And after that, there was a unity government formed. Nobody was arrested, illegally detained, beaten. But imagine that William Ruto had taken that route to actually arrest Odinga. Kenya would have descended into chaos. And that is what we say. And when we look at that picture, I said, Cameroonians, let us draw from the analogy that somebody can claim that you win an election, rightfully or wrongfully, but at the end of the day, he who has the power will still maintain the power if you have it. So why putting ourselves in this fix? And when you see this kind of situation, it's coming to tell you that there is a great divide within the system where some people want to act but their hands are tight. Some people feel like these other people some people are over pushing the limit, which they should not push the limit. So at the end of the day, in all fairness, we need to go back and look at how other countries have had their post-electoral conflict. The same situation repeated itself in this 2022 presidential election in Kenya. But do you know it was handled the same way? And Raila Odinga, the opposition party died, he was given a state burial like Barrister Aquina said. Raila Odinga was given a state burial because he was respected and they treated him with all dignity. And let us come back home and ask ourselves the question. When we sing the beautiful rendition of our anthem, especially in the French language, Va debout et jaloux de ta liberté, what do we mean? Do we sing it because we want to sing a hymn, or do we sing it because it is a fabric that defines our democracy and our constitutionality? When you say va debout, t'es servi, what does that mean? T'es servi. It means that we must look at things from that sanctity. The truth here is that we Cameroonians, must keep away our bitterness, our anger, to understand that nobody in this nation owe Cameroon more than the other. All of us are Cameroonians. We must understand that we may differ in thought. Like we heard, there was one point that, as Bakrister said, whether it has not been officially proven, but allegedly, that Anisene Kane was asking for his ventilator, and that the ventilator was not given. And even the family members have posted on media. There is something also happening. Even Mr. Juken Chamani is sick. But people are not talking about that. His family raised an alarm that he lives on a special medication. But the truth here is that now that a Kane own has happened, are we going back? It began with Wazizi. Wazizi died in detention. Wazizi died in detention. And they came and told us that it is sepsis or hepsis, which means that he died of inflammation. And how did the inflammation come? They did not tell us. Was he tortured? They did not tell us. Till then, the corpse of Wazizi has not been handed to his family. The family has not even buried it. Like he talked about the human right issue. The right to respect of death is a human right. It is in the Geneva Convention. Today, Wazizi's family hasn't gotten any feedback. The corpse of Wazizi has not been given to the family, and the family is standing. Now, when you look at this same scenario and say, Kane, it is adding to the list of these kind of situations. And I want to ask ourselves, when we sit at the front bench of churches, of our church, when we pray, our Father, give us this our daily bread. When we pray, do we have that conscience that Cameroon belongs to everybody? At the time we all pay the price when we meet our Creator, we shall ask God, were we part of the chaos or were we part of the solution? Were we part of those who inflicted pain in the minds of those who would have respectively disagreed, or were part of those that united Cameroon?
Yes, Barrister, we've read from the European Union, who is once again calling for the release of all those who were arrested after what has happened to Anisene Kane. Should we see more actions taken towards the liberation of those who were arrested in connection with these elections?
The first question is, why were they arrested in the first place? We don't know that we can call that an arrest, because an arrest means that a due judicial process is followed. There is a complaint that is filed. It is forwarded to the authority in charge of issuing warrant, which is the State Council. On basis of that warrant, they give to the judicial police officer. He goes and executes it. And then the person is taken now from his home to the detention center. So I don't know how do we call that one arrest. If those due processes were not followed, then it means that the law was flouted, and let those who whisk him off. I cannot say arrest. In fact, it cannot be called an arrest. Yes, it can't. Not in English, not in French, not in a legal language, or the Portuguese or Latin. They just whisk people off, and then you only hear that they are in detention centers. What is their offense? Who established the offense? Because when you file a complaint, whoever files a complaint, if it is the State Council, the legal department, to prefer a charge, to name an offense based on the complaint, who did that? So what are their offenses and what are they doing in custody? So the European Union had all the right to tell Cameroon to release them, because everything appears to be illegal. You see, I'm so ashamed because I am a lawyer. If I should go abroad and tell somebody I am a lawyer from Cameroon, and they ask me these kind of questions and I cannot answer, how would they look at the state of Cameroon? Is it in fact, are we living in a nation, instead a state, or are we living in a zoo? Or are we, in fact, I don't even know. If you look at situations like this, you find it difficult to actually describe what we are living in. You find it quite difficult. Are we living? Do we observe the state of law? The Criminal Procedure Code is clear. All the conventions on human rights are clear. The death of a candidate, it is torture, because it will appear to torture. You refuse him his life support. That amounts to torture. It does not mean that you beat him or you give him it is an inhumane treatment. And Cameroon is a signatory to the Convention Against Torture and to all the human rights. And funnily, they are signatories to all human rights and every international convention that has to touch on the rights of man, humanitarian law, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to issues, I don't know what Cameroon take what the state of Cameroon actually take as of importance, because they'll tell you that, oh, the arm of the law will take its course. In whose case? In the case of others, and then against others. Are they political prisoners? In which case? How do you apprehend a political prisoner? What did they do? They have not told us what is the nature of their offense. Because till today I'm still asking, what was even the nature of the offense? It is now I'm hearing that because he said that somebody won an election.
Security or whatever.
Okay, the other CPDM have won. So what's the big deal? Mr. Chiruma is alleged. Why is he in custody? For a mere statement. Does that actually make sense? How did that statement stop? How did it turn around the vote not to please or not to favor the regime instead? So I think that international organizations, I think it is time for them to press hard and begin to give sanctions. Cameroon merits sanctions for the gross violation.
Yeah, but when the European Union makes statements and maybe others are going to follow, so many statements are made. But what weight does that carry?
Yeah, I think it has a lot of weight because
we've seen with the Anglophone crisis.
The
UN made statements and so many statements. Nothing really happened.
Now this is what is most important. You know, most often people talking, they don't act. The EU has made a statement. It requires lawyers and human rights defenders like myself and Barrister Akwen to now pick up these, to start looking at the competent courts with regards to what has happened, to start indicting people who are perpetrating these evil and unlawful actions against people. Now, take for example, we have 3 basic steps to take. In Cameroon, you start within your country. You leave your country, you go to within the region. If at the end of the day, the African Union of the Human and People's Rights Commission cannot indeed see into this, then we have the right to seize the United Nations with regards to this. And it is imperative that such is done, because when you take a look at what is happening with regards to those who were incarcerated because of their political opinion, it is first of all a violation of the people's civil and political rights. I am going to stress a bit on this because it is imperative for the people to know exactly the source of his unlawful incarceration. One, it is because he made mention, and we should be mindful of the fact that he wasn't the only person who said Chiruma won. If you go to section 113, it is clear that once the vote is done, or the voting process is done, you count all the vote within that particular polling station and declare the winner of that polling station. So when you put together the summary of all the declarations that were made as per evidence that they had, it led to Anesine Kane and the others to say that Chiruma won the election. But that does not validate the position of the Constitutional Council, which by that particular electoral law, it is given to the Constitutional Council solely to declare the winner that will be sworn in by the Parliament. So when you put this together, Anesine Kane was illegally arrested and was illegally detained and was refused the right to health care, the right to medical attention. And I am indeed bewildered hearing that the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Defense, because it would appear there is that disconnection with regards to what is happening. It goes back to say that the personal opinion of Minister Emmanuel René Sadi that some people are not consulted. Sir, it does not even require the people to be consulted. I want to believe that there is a legal department at the level of the presidency, and every minister has a legal team, and that team has to indeed interpret the law. And before interpreting the law, based on the Cameroon Constitution, instruments that we ratify takes precedence before what we have made. Thus, this particular right we are talking about is a fundamental human right that Cameroon has prioritized even above our constitution. That is to say that the rights to life, the rights to health care, the rights to a lawyer and the rest. But I'll tell you that if you look at the circumstances surrounding Anicene Ekane, it is said by the son that the father had requested through his lawyer to have a proper medical care, but that was shown. So it will imply that there was every action. This is what someone may consider a premeditated murder.
Okay.
As per law.
Mr. Leo, good evening. My heart bleeds concerning the death of Ekane. Is this what politics is all about? My condolences to the family. Careless Godlove writing there, but he is raising the potency, the capacity of the international community to influence what's happening back here in Cameroon. Should focus beyond the international community or the Cameroon opposition and civil society solidarity, because even till now we have political figures who have not said anything about the passing of Anicene Ekane.
We don't have opposition parties. We have interest-based individuals. And I'm happy the second topic will still further prove what I'm saying. When this political crisis started, did you hear the opposition party condemn the arrest of Anicene Ekane, Juken Chamani, and the arrest of other figures in Cameroon that some people are saying 2,000, some people are saying 5,000 arrested? Have you heard any of these parties actually release a joint statement? No. The second aspect is Anicene Ekane health was deteriorating. Did you hear in any normal country that has opposition that are based on the framework of opposition, they would have raised a joint statement calling for government to permit a colleague to get proper medical treatment? They did not. Everybody is fighting for their interest. Everybody wants a ministerial post.
No, but if I listen to what Mou Rrant said, that they had met the Minister of Territorial Administration, and the day in this case implied that a group of opposition party met the Minister of
I agree. Madam Kawala was working, Madam Kawala has a Stand Up for Cameroon group. So you cannot take what Stand Up for Cameroon is doing under what the CPP party is doing, or is the party that
it is a composition of other political parties.
I understand.
Yes,
What I'm saying is
please don't intervene.
The frontline opposition parties did not make statement. And I also want to ask, how many of these frontline opposition parties have actually visited Anicene Ekane when he was in prison? How many? Everybody's afraid to associate with him, because if we associate with him, probably it will lost our interest not be felt. It is so shameful that but we live in this kind of difficult situation. We expected opposition parties to speak with one voice. I like giving examples across other nations. Let us go to what happened in Tanzania. In Tanzania, they had an election, and the election, according to to other organizations or international organizations, more than 3,000 persons were killed in post-electoral violence. That occurred in the same October. But there have been joint statements by opposition parties condemning the action. Joint statement. The same thing is happening in Uganda, where Yoweri Museveni is contesting with Bobi Wine. When actions are taken that contravene the official action, opposition parties come together. Till now, how many of these opposition parties have come together? I just saw SDF release a statement calling for the full investigation of this Anicene Ekane issue. But I want to ask a question. Before his death, did they not know that Anicene Ekane was incarcerated? Before his death, did they not know that the health situation of Anicene Ekane was deteriorating? Must we wait until they die before we chase cloud to show that, oh, we are now opposition? Or the opposition don't have intelligent information to know that someone like Mr. Momo Dide expressed that a dear friend, a fighter of democracy, and say Ekane is not any kind of name in politics of Cameroon that you can just say that, oh, he's a household name that have grown up. So did they not know that his health was failing till now? Just now, some of them are beginning to release communique, and it is so shameful. It is sad, because everybody, I am saying this, that everybody now is trying to negotiate their ministerial position. And the thing is, if you look further, you raise an issue about international community. I will say that the statement made by international community, it has no concrete effect whatsoever to the state of Cameroon. And because it has no effect, we'll just talk on it. A different subject will come, will die. Let me give you an example. The Anglophone crisis. We had the UN Secretary General in Cameroon. He came. He spoke with President Paul Biya in Cameroon at the time of the crisis. The other people even organized Mami Wata goes down. He went. Did something change? Nothing. We had Musa Faki, then Chair Commission of African Union. He came to Cameroon. He made statement. Oh, there should be dialogue, condemn. Did something happen? Nothing. Commonwealth came. Nothing. Parties at Scotland of Francophonie, well, we also have the Francophonie, came. Nothing. The only person that has not come to Cameroon as far as Anglophone crisis in physical is concerned is Pope. But the Pope had sent his emissaries. What has changed? Let's also look at the case of Wazizi. When the case of Wazizi came out, all this international community spoke. People who doubt me should go and Google the Wazizi's death. Google, you see the UN, African Union, European Union spoke. All the union spoke. Did that change anything? Nothing. We have reached at the point where only Cameroonian politicians, opposition and solidarity with civil society organization has the mantle and the solution to change the issue in unity, not in disparate. And I always say this: what do coffee will do cocoa. By the time, because it's not affecting you, you are dancing. When the time will come, you think that will affect you. Everybody will shift away.
Okay. Good evening, members of the panel. I'm in support of the second spokesperson. That's to say, the only institution that has the final say of the results is the Constitutional Council. So even if Mr. Ikane made a statement that Issa Chiroma won the elections, meanwhile the council has already proclaimed the results. My question is, was it really necessary for them to arrest the leader of Manidem party? No. If not of the lack of transparency, I don't see why Mr. Ikane's statement should cause the government to detain him. Please should learn to put democracy in practice, not only by mouth. The nation belongs to us all. Freedom of speech is our right. So please, if we are for the people, we should try to protect the people's interest. Thanks. Amba Benjamin, writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Amba Benjamin. Mr. Leonard, Jeremiah 31:15 has repeated itself in Cameroon. A voice is heard in Cameroon. Lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel Cameroonians are weeping for her children because they are no more. Where is Wazizi? Where is Martinez Ngogo? Where is Anise Ikane? Members of our government jailed for stealing billions are sent for treatment abroad, and Ikane begged for medical health in this fifth world country, Cameroon, and they deny him. Where did we go wrong, Mr. Leo? December 1st was bad, is bad. Oh, how I wish they opened their ears to listen to the battery of intellectuals you bring. They do not listen. My media prime, rest well. Sir, greet Nifru. Tell him it has gone from bad to worse. Okay, I start talking to Anise Kane to greet Nijon Frundi that things are getting worse. We are moving straight to our second topic for tonight, which has to do with the call that was made by President Paul Biya on the day of his inaugural speech while taking the oath of office in Yaoundé, and while addressing the so many things he wanted to see done during his 7 years mandate, he called for community dialogue as a means to end the Anglophone crisis. I don't know, we all listen to the address to the nation, but now, Barrister, what exactly did President Biya mean by community dialogue in his investiture speech? I want to quote what he said. He said that, I urge traditional rulers, the elite and vital forces of the affected regions to engage more than ever before in raising awareness among members of the armed groups, encouraging them to accept government's olive branch and lay down their arms. He went further to say such community dialogue could be conducted in collaboration with administrative authorities to facilitate the reintegration of these wayward youths into their respective communities after going through the DDR program. Once again, I would like to question the members of these armed groups who continue their criminal activities about the serious consequences of their obstinacy. Yes, what exactly did the president mean by community dialogue in his investiture speech?
Mr. Aliu, I'm not the head of state, so
no, but I've read out some of the
I cannot give you a clear answer. You understand? Because this crisis started and the head of state was watching. Things were getting off hands. He was watching. At the time where he has gone to disaster point, they come up with a statement. I cannot interpret his statement. He called on community and the
elites, the traditional rulers. That is
traditional rulers.
We must understand that he's coming from the prism of a major national dialogue that took place in Yaoundé. That was at the national level. Now he is calling on those at the local level to engage in local dialogue.
Through what means? You see, it is a very good speech, which like I said, I will thank the head of state for that very beautiful speech. You understand? But how does he expect them to engage the dialogue when the grand national dialogue? I don't want to say whether it failed or whether it succeeded, because the problem is like worsening on daily basis. Yesterday you follow what happened in Bamenda, how explosives killed 2 gendarmes. Like I said all the time, each life matters. When we lost a Cameroonian, we have lost a Cameroonian, and our number, instead of increasing, reduces. When are we going to be 50 million, 100 million like Nigeria, so that we can host a grand, we can know that we have a good market that foreigners can always want to come to Cameroon? At what instant is he saying that? And what means and method has he put in place for the local chiefs? Those local chiefs were there. I remember last time I said here that, first of all, when they are holding security meeting, regional security meeting or divisional security meeting, of what was being chaired by the different governors, local chiefs are not brought into the meeting. They are not part of the meeting, so they don't follow the deliberations. How do you expect them to hold security issues with people who have AK-47 and who have bullets all the time? Mr. Leo, let's ask a question. How do these people get, with all the security measures at our borders, and how do guns find themselves inside our country? How do bullets infiltrate? So how do you ask an unarmed person to have a dialogue with an armed person who does not even reason well? Because if those voices were reasoning well, they will not be killing their fellow brothers and sisters. The government should do its work and stop entrusting it in people who do not have the logistics to manage the situation. You heard when the son of Nso was kidnapped and taken into custody. He stayed there 4 days. You heard when late Cardinal Tome was equally kidnapped and taken into custody. You heard when late Fundi was kidnapped.
Even the president of the Northwest House of Chiefs spent more than a year in detention.
Or in captivity.
In captivity, yes, not in detention, in captivity. So how do you tell that same chief now, the son of Bampala, who is this? How do you tell him now to go and fight the same people? When it comes to elites, I know my face is bad before elites right now. I'm just saying that the same way, the same modus that they use to canvass the votes, to cause the people, or not to cause the voices to lay down their arms and to allow the population to go and vote. They should employ those means and methods. Let this burden actually be discharged to the elites. I think that they are the people that have a solution, if at all. They should have a solution to the crisis in the Northwest and in the Southwest by using the same method that they use to secure the votes. They should employ those same methods to bring peace. Because tell me, did they just go and then people came out en masse and voted? Did they did negotiations with the voices not to disturb? If they did, good and fine. Let them go and do such negotiations. Take the guns, disarm them, and take them to the DDR center. It was created for them. When you go through Miselele, The other one day is already bushy, like a wasted project.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. How feasible is this?
I think it's something that indeed calls for proper diagnosis. But I want to say this before we start looking at how we can take the measures to diagnose. Firstly, Mr. President, the people you call the elites and the chiefs, you have made them more of enemies to their people. They are more politically inclined with the CBDM party than solving real problems in their communities. As such, sending them to speak to a people they do not have any mandate to speak to, because they have created a scenario where you see them as credible people for their people. It's a total lie. I am indeed shocked, because if I go by the last presidential elections, I'll go to Batibo, I'll go to the northwest entirely, I'll come to the southwest, I'll go to the division where the Prime Minister comes from, Dian, and the total number of votes that left that area. I'll go by what some senators and some members of parliament said, that these areas are areas that you have created for them. But did you know that these people are indeed not the people helping these countries to advance the real cause of growth? This is so because when you evaluate the ongoing armed conflicts in the restive regions, I am glad that the head of state does not call them the names that some of your ministers calls them. According to some of your ministers, they are terrorists. I want to put it the way they put it. Some of the people you call elite and chiefs to go back and dialogue with these people. They call some of these boys, or they call these people, terrorists. You call them armed groups that have taken up arms against our country. You have the heart so much to bring them back and reinsert them in our community. However, according to most of the people you are sending to speak to these boys, they don't see them as humans and Cameroonians enough to talk to. The second thing is, if we were to evaluate this conflict, those that have been targeted, we have had three groups of people: the Defense and Security Forces of the Republic of the Cameroon, the political elites, worst of it, anyone who is a member of the CBDM party, according to the non-state armed groups, is someone they should not even see with their eyes, talk less of having a conversation with them. The third category of people are people who, in their struggle for their daily life,
that is what you are saying. But she just raised an issue that these are the persons who have mobilized for successful elections. Yesterday elections took place in the northwest and southwest regions. There was no banning of anything.
Mr. Leo,
elections went on hitch-free.
I will give it to you based on those that have been kidnapped. I speak with facts, and you know them. You have said them on your platform, and it has been read on your news channel. Who are those who have been kidnapped? I talked about members of the CBDM party and the worst of it, political elites. I talked about political elites. That includes those who hold opposition position in these respective areas. They have been targeted by the non-state armed groups.
Yeah, but
the second category,
opposition members have also been kidnapped.
That is why I am saying that. I talk about political elites.
We saw a group of civilians in Bambui taken every day.
Political, I'm coming. Political.
I'm sure more civilians have been kidnapped than
I was giving to you.
My uncle was taken last
I was
week.
giving to a group of people. I have been I've been a victim to this. My niece is living today, until today she has not succeeded to secure her insurance benefit, who was indeed slaughtered partly by a call that was made by Eric Tato when he talked about Gari people in Tico in 2019. So I have been a victim not only in this as a person, but I've been a victim severally on it. I was explaining to you the category of people, so you should understand. I've made mention of a group of people who are struggling on their daily life, and these boys do not find their activities in line with that their personal activity they are held, and people like your uncle fall within this category. We will include even some of the priests and the bishops who have been victims to this, that you know. Now, these are the category of people. What is the issue here? The president brought in a category of people to sit with these people. And in this case, I don't want to believe that he was speaking to the opposition political party elites. He spoke to people whom he believed have been giving him report with regards to what is happening on the ground. And this is why he called on the chiefs, he called on the elites, that they should go down and communicate with these people. But the elites have been the perpetual Judas of their people, because when we say things are wrong, this Judas of their people would rather give a total different picture with regards to what is happening. And one of it is that you see a situation where an area does not have roads, but this person does not speak for the people with regards to that. You see an area where these people do not have hospital.
What are you saying in effect? The president says at the local level they should engage a dialogue. You are saying
at the local level, I am saying this back to the president, that the people he has enumerated to go down and talk to these people, they will produce no results that will bring peace and serenity within this area, because these are the people that those carrying arms do not want to see. These are the people that have been victims to those carrying arms.
They may change the tone and talk from a different lens. Issa Chiruma Bakari yesterday said something, but when he went to Bomenda, he said, I'm sorry. Who says that the elites cannot now change?
The worst of it is that the category of people you are talking about, I will go by the just ended elections. I'm not a robot. I will not be a robot. I was practical on the ground. Let me tell you something. If you observe how dissatisfied the people were with regards to certain results that came from certain ends, and everyone who was dissatisfied with this result did not accuse any other person other than the elite. So these are not the people whom you would expect to go back and talk to these people. They do not have the pedigree to speak to these people to convince them. The rest of it.
Tamai Jarvis, what role can traditional rulers, elites, and community leaders realistically play in encouraging dialogue?
That question is very, very difficult one to answer based on the realities on the ground. If we go by the just ended presidential election, I would say that they have already played a role, because how we imagine, we look at the figures that came out already, means that normalcy has returned, because only during normalcy that you can have that effective participation as compared to Douala that is normal, which means Douala is more abnormal than the northwest and southwest region. Now, in terms of advancing, Mr. Liu, I said that question is very difficult to answer on the reality on the ground. let me break it down. Now, you asked about what role can they play. First, they have become political, and the truth here is that if the chiefs and the traditional rulers were actually apolitical in their activism, they had a role to play. If they were like Fon Sokujo, they had a role to play. How do you hear when a chief tells you that the president of the republic would die in service on the chair because that is they have decided that he should be there, and that same chief has opposition members in his
When was the chief ever replaced?
Yes, that same chief has opposition member in his village where you are supposed to listen to everybody. We have watched on several videos where people even tell you that no one can campaign in my village. Opposition. Let's go to the northwest and the conflict in the northwest and southwest region. The head of state that two things: either he's out of touch with reality, or what he's being told, what he's being told is different from what he thought is existing. How many of these chiefs can go back to their villages in now? How many can go back to their? They have mobile palaces. They are moving with mobile palaces. How many of these elites can actually go back to their villages? They have mobile constituencies. Their constituency is in their back. They only come Nicodemously during election with armored cars and enter the village, and after the election, they enter Songo. The truth remains the truth, and the truth is God. You can only kill the teller, but you cannot kill the truth. In the northwest and the southwest, the elites have a role to play. The role they had to play, they squander it by making
My
sure.
question is, what can they do?
That's what I'm
You are
saying.
painting a picture of what, yeah, but now, given the context, what can they do?
Okay, they can repent. Prime Minister Issa Chiruma, go to their people and tell the people that it is this situation that we are facing. This
They
is
can repent from what to what? Are you saying that those carrying arms are saints? That okay,
No, I'm saying for the
what
people,
they are
not the
doing.
arm, not the arm
What
people.
they are doing is because no, those are the persons that you need to talk to because
no, the people they cannot talk to these people because
the population
they say
actually
earlier
have a problem with them.
these people. We
When
know
you say they have to repent, they are repenting to
No.
who, from what to what?
the elite can only bring peace if they work with the people who don't carry arms to convince the people who don't carry arms. Because the people who don't carry arms are the mothers who are in the villages that live in these villages. The people who don't carry arms are the normal businessman in Bamenda that is suffering from the guns of the person carrying arms. So you, in negotiation, you first make peace with these people, try to negotiate with these people so that the bitterness they have towards you, they will unify and form a common force, because the people who can easily talk to those carrying arms are the woman who is in Ginicom, who stand and sell because they know.
Are you saying that the population is very comfortable with those carrying arms?
That is why I'm saying that the population already is not comfortable with those carrying arms. The only reason why they cannot confront these people is because they don't have guns. And second, let me give you a scenario that happened in a village I think it's in Ka village, where there was a negotiation between the community that came out and went and met an Amba general who watched a video. We watched the confrontation, how they were discussing. Now, in normal force, an elite cannot stand in that distance and even discuss with those people. That's right. A political elite can never even stand in that distance and discuss with those people. That's why I'm saying that the elite need to make peace with those local people, discuss with them, so that they form a common force and the negotiation between those because the elite first consider those kind of arms as terrorists. We all know they consider them as terrorists. Secondly, the government does not negotiate with terrorists. First, government policy, they don't negotiate with terrorists. So how will you go and negotiate with terrorists first? Which means that the state is compromising its fundamental constitutional value of not negotiating with terrorists, asking them to go and negotiate with terrorists. The only people who could get these people out are the normal people in those villages who are affected by the act of those boys. And you know, let me give you an example.
What you're prescribing, I don't know, are you indirectly saying that those who are supposed to go talk to engage these arm carrying guys should not be the political elite?
It should not. The people who are in the villages have first of all a simple, those people carrying guns have a certain kind of compassion. I don't want to put compassion, but a kind of way that they can just, not a full hatred on the people who are on the ground. Those on the ground can easily talk to those voices. I'll give you the example of Nka. The example of Nka proved that when they went, there were more than 300 people in that village. They came fachem with the so-called self-styled general, and they were talking. I bet you, and they discussed, they had a mutual understanding. At one point in time, for over 2 hours, at one point I heard them clapping. At one point in time, that is the people that can easily discuss with these guys to tell them, please. But let me ask, can an elite stand in that dimension? They cannot. Now, if you let me further butchers answer my point. If you look at what happened when there was the rededication of the cathedral in Bamenda, it's a textbook example of the anger of the ordinary masses. When the apostle,
you are talking something else. We
no,
are talking
I'm
about
giving
politics.
you. No, it is the connection between the elites and the people. Why the people have that resentment, and how it is only those people who have that resentment where the elite can reconcile with these people and see how they can work together and build peace and get those people from the bushes to drop their arms, because those people from the bushes are already declared terrorists. How do you go and negotiate again with terrorists? It's breaking down Cameroonian values.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Leo, like I said, the response to that question, you can see, is very complicated.
It's difficult.
It's a very complicated question.
So the president is assigning, giving a very difficult assignment
what
to
we are
the
trying
political and administrative.
Let me say, because first of all, this crisis has become so complicated than it started. If you want to look at it critically, who are the Amber Boys? Who are they? Are they still fighting for this crisis? Why is it that at what point in time you have the pro, at what point in time they are? If Amber Boys were Amber Boys, how come that this election of all times becomes so overwhelming that the Northwest and Southwest, they are coming up on top of the list? Remember, first of all, these are people who said they don't want to belong to this government anymore.
They have no thing concerning election.
That is why they have this today. It is their own day.
Yeah.
That not even whatever have changed the status quo of today.
Yeah, but maybe
If nobody sanctions anybody for not going to work on this day,
maybe it is because of the outcome of the overwhelming scores the president of the republic saw from the Northwest and the Southwest. It gave him the impression that because if I have more scores from the Southwest and Northwest than from the South region where I come from, it means you guys. What you guys
that is what I am saying.
It is true.
That's the same way.
It is true.
The Northwest and Southwest
their divisions are scored better than the giant region where the president comes from. Where it comes from.
Great.
No, she's the one.
Yeah.
When you see these results coming, why should you doubt that these guys should go and talk? Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that this challenge, even though at this point you can see we are not unanimous, your panelists are not unanimous, but like my own point of view, let that task go back to the elites. I said in the same way, whatever the gymnastic they played, to whatever they handcuffed those boys, whatever they did to keep them away, to secure those number of votes, let them employ the same measures. Because it means that at that point in time there was peace, there was serenity. That 5,000 people could come from Batibo alone, 12,000 from Fundong, 15,000 from Messager, I don't know, and so on and so forth. In those remote areas, that is like they are classified, in fact internationally they are classified red zones. How did those people came out to vote? In the same way that you kept the voices away, it means you told them something. Okay, use that same method to go and tell them that we want peace.
Yeah,
yes,
it's quite.
They should keep the chiefs out of it. Because this crisis came and the chiefs became disarmed. It's like the chiefs were disarmed. The funds were disarmed. Many funds now they're ambulating palaces. Today the palace is in Douala. The next day the palace is in Lime. The next day the fund, where are you? I am in Yaoundé. Or the next time I am just in Bafoussam, I'm waiting that place to go back. If I told some of them, many of them died out of their palaces. We see the fund of Chomba, who died out of his palace. The son of Baba One, who passed away out of his palace, and others who passed away out of their palaces.
That is not continue.
So
there was also a member of parliament who was kidnapped during the election in Ndonga Manto.
I'm still coming to that one. Yes, with the list of his voters. Yes. How many people voted for his party? So in the same light, they should keep the funds away from it and let the elites. To me, that is their responsibility. Only a few funds are fighting to become whatever. The bulk are the elites who wants to become member of the regional house. They want to become the mayors. They want to become members of parliament. They want to be appointed to the Senate. They want to do their business in tranquility. They want to become ministers. Some fund fight with their elites, and so on and so forth. The same way they secure those votes. That should be the simple challenge. Very simple. How did you hold the voices that you secured this number of votes? Employ same measure. That's my own take on that.
Yes. What policies changes must accompany community dialogue for it to have a lasting impact? It is true. We're talking about local representatives. They are voted because they are in Yaoundé because they got their mandate from the population. Huh? Yes, so they have been sent down there. Well, It's true. They got their mandate from. They are representing the people, both at the municipal and the legislative level. They got their mandate from the people. Now, but what accompanying measures do you think the government can put in place to facilitate the realization of this assignment?
They proposed a good number of things to the government that led to the acceptance of the result that came up, or go by what Barrister Akwen said, which is quite imperative for us to see that, okay, yes, certain measures were used. The government accompanied them. That is what happened. That led to what they now have. Before I delve into that, there was a question you did pop up which had to do with the aspect of someone repenting. It is imperative for us to record that the repented person who was accepted had a walk away from his previous position.
Yes, that point, as you have made that point, just
so it is good that to accompany these people, if they want to cause these people to listen to them, they must repent. That includes members of the government that will want to accompany these people. Let me tell you something. Let us not be fictional. We should not act a movie. Let us speak from the position of fact. I am a member of an active civil society, and almost on a daily basis I get to talk to a bulk of people to understand the reality with regards to how we can rebuild this country. I defend people's rights at almost all fronts on a daily basis. That included today before I got to Douala.
Yes.
I will tell you that.
Nous sommes déjà presque arrivés à la fin de cette édition spéciale, l'une des chaînes sociopolitiques. Alors, bienvenue donc pour la prochaine.